My name is Jean Hakuzimana. I mastered into the community development policy and practice. I was born and raised in Rwanda, a country in Central Africa. I was trained as a journalist and communication. Then at a certain point I realized that maybe I need to try something else that gives me more peace and less troubles. And then I say, look, let me find something that is tangible that can help to transform lives. Then I say, look, let me try this community development policy and practice. That's how I end up doing this master's. I work here as a statewide director for the refugee settlement program of Ascentria Care Alliance. The day-to-day work is we have a community of people who came from different countries, Africa, Ukraine, Afghanistan, Latin America, who came in the country through the refugee settlement program of the US government. So our job is to help them for resettlement, integration into the community, helping them to get the basics so that they can fly on their own wings. It's very perfectly matching with the community development policies and practice. I believe that I'm making impacts in people's lives. When you see young men coming from Afghanistan or Ukraine, where you see bombings every night, and when you see them being resettled, getting the basics, going to work, having again hope, despite the challenges, trauma they've endured, you feel like, look, I believe I'm making an impact in someone's life, and it's fulfilling. The way courses are organized, they give you some time and flexibility because you're hybrid, online and in person. Back in there, and I could work some homework in the evening hours. Actually, I can tell you that I had 2 jobs when I was doing this master's. So I had a night job in the weekend. I was working with at the Cross the Mountain Foundation. It's a school for children living with disabilities. And some of the work that I was submitting, the assignments, I would be doing them when kids are sleeping at my second job. And that was a nice drive, I would spend that night while watching over children. They're sleeping in the house and I'm doing some assignments. Eventually, that was very helpful to me to meet the deadlines. Yeah, my capstone was about Lake Chad. It's a vanishing lake in the north of Africa. It's a lake that has lost 9% of the initial coverage, or 90% of the initial coverage. So I was working over there back in days when I studied MCD, and the population, the community around the lake, they are suffering because the lake was the substantial mean for their lives. It used to be their source of lives from fishing, farming, but now if you see the whole vanishing coverage, people are suffering. They're just being displaced, they're running out of resources. And my capstone was a part of a project that was restoring the lake. There was a project to plant more than 40 million trees around the lake. And when I was doing my capstone, I was looking into the methods of involving communities. What was the why the communities was feeling like we are abandoned, we are left out into this programming. So that was my capstone focus. So I was helping the project to involve the community in a substantial way, to own the initiative. That was my capstone. I believe that was a substantial project. I believe now the trees have multiplied in a way that is sustainable for the community. Some of the assignments I remember picking some of the topics, for example, from the job, the refugee resettlement program, like English learning classes. I remember doing the analysis, the financial analysis of the cost-benefit analysis of teaching English to newcomers or new Americans or refugees, people arriving. So it was a nice combination. The job that I'm doing, it's community development, and learning community development, when you're doing it, it's a perfect combination of applying concepts, learning concepts, and even trying some new concepts as well. I believe most of the job that I do here, it is informed by the MCD theories of change. The logic model is the perfect thing to apply in many settings of the job we do here. I can tell you, for example, now the organization's leadership, my top leaders, they are involving us into reimagining the work we are doing. In that exercise of reimagining how we can do the resettlement, the supporting refugees, it comes to be like you need those concepts. So you need to define some problems, and you need to see how long do we want to solve this? Do we have enough tools? How can we assemble allies? Can we do the ally analysis? All those things we run the MCD, they are very helpful. And whenever I have to participate in those conversations, I use those tools to design my interventions and program. Yeah, NH SONGA is a concept or an initiative that I was contemplating outside of the role that I'm in, especially how can we bridge the gaps that I was seeing into the community. People are coming, they start their lives, they start knowing USA, New Hampshire, and suddenly you start seeing the gaps in some areas. So that's how I end up bringing in on the New Hampshire SONGA, just to bridge the gaps in different areas where I was feeling a huge gap, namely workforce development, health, and education. That was my initial idea when I was thinking about the New Hampshire SONGA. The easiest way was to convene people into the room, and we did it. Myself and a team of people supporting me, we managed to convene the first Immigrants in New Hampshire Workforce Conference in 2023. It was quite a successful conference. We had more than 150 attendees from different angles: policymakers, employers, employees, non-profit organizations. And we ran around the concepts of how can we properly integrate immigrants in the workforce, what's lacking, how can we do better. And that was a substantial conversation of one day. People were running, engaged, and after all, people start reaching out. Hey, we ran this, we did this, we are doing this. We want you to help us to train us in workforce retention when it comes to immigrants. And that was the impact that I was intending to have. We had another successful conference the following year. 160, 70s people came, and the conversation was even more engaging. The journey continues. Still hopeful that there is much to do in that area, but those are the few achievements we made within New Hampshire SONGA. So the concept is, I believe it was something new in the community. How can you empower the employers to know the best that they can retrieve from the community of new Americans they have in their company? How can you talk to the CEO to make sure that they take into consideration new Americans if they have them employed in their company? So that was a new concept, I believe. Probably that's the That's why I got that BOB award. I was also named among the New Hampshire influential people. It's 100 or 200 influential people. That those were quite surprises, but also encouraging to me that I'm probably able to make an impact. In the long run, I would say it paid off. I believe the assurance that you have the ability to do something in a development world. I believe that it's abstract, but it's an inner force moving around, going into the conversation, meeting people, feeling like you can help, you can contribute in the conversation going on in the room. Going into the conference about fiscal policies, and you feel like, hey, I put in this conversation, meeting the mayor, meeting the governor, meeting the project designers, and you believe like you can help to put in some ideas that can maybe change the course. So that's the first role of return on investment that I believe I have. It does not. Actually, when you are in it, you don't realize how big it will impact your career afterward. Because the project model, I think it's cross-cutting. It applies in everything. Having that knowledge, it's a big investment within any framework of career you want to go into: health, workforce, education, whatever you want to do, you're going to need that logic thinking in solving problems. I would say jump on it, have it. It's flexible, good teachers. I believe you still have people like Joran, and so good in those logic model concepts. You have people like Michael Swack. I really enjoyed the integrative approaches courses. So they have to jump on it and have that wealth of knowledge, which will inform their career moving forward.